Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. My name is James Richards, sitting in for Don today, and I'm also a candidate. Very happy to be here with Christian and Tracy Harden, and also with Dave Smith. We're excited to bring this worship to you all today, and of course, I hope you're having, in addition to wishing everyone a happy Father's Day, I hope you're having a reflective Juneteenth as well. I hope that you'll feel free to take part in the worship as you're willing and able from your homes, and find a place in your home where you can be present. Feel free to sing along with the hymns, move along with the movement prayer, and just excited to be with y'all today. Our first hymn today will be "Wake Now My Senses." It's in the gray hymnal, number 298, or you can follow along on your screens at home. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the truth. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limits and praise the sublime. Compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged praise. God's love embraces the whole human race. God's love embraces the whole human race.
Thank you so much, James. It is an honor, it is a privilege to be up here leading worship along with one of the finalists for Dad of the Year, James Richards, who's also my children's dad. I'm Reverend Taryn Strauss, and a senior minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, a community working towards becoming a beloved community that changes lives. I want you to know, wherever you are from, whatever path you are on, whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are grateful your path has crossed ours this morning. We also hope you will continue to stay engaged in your faith life, in your spiritual life this summer by joining the Adult Religious Education Summer Book Club. We will be reading The Color of Law, A Forgotten History of How Our Government Segregated America by Richard Rothstein. The link to join the Adult RE Summer Book Club is going into the live chat right about now. Please also join the Immigrant Action Team for their supply drive for El Refugio, taking place this afternoon, today, from 2 to 5 p.m. in the parking lot of our new campus at 2650 North Druid Hills Road. They are collecting new and gently used clothing, as well as individually sealed snacks, N95 masks, and menstruation products for women asylum seekers detained by ICE and released from Stewart Detention Center. El Refugio needs our help to supply these women with the essentials as they are released with nothing but the clothes they traveled in. Please consider stopping by and taking courageous action with the Immigrant Action Team. We also hope you will continue to honor your faith life by continuing to watch our worship, our amazing worship this summer. We have some incredible guest speakers who will be gracing this pulpit this summer. And we hope you will join our worship watch brunch parties. So we may not all be able to come together yet, but that doesn't mean that you cannot worship in community. We invite you to plan a Sunday morning worship watch brunch party. Form a brunch pod with your small group ministry or your neighborhood circle or just your group of UUCA friends. Take a picture of your watch party that you're watching worship together and submit it to uuca.org/brunch for a chance to win brunch on us for your pod. The link to submit photos is going into the live chat right about now. Through our live chats, we can offer support and care to one another and also greet each other in a spirit of welcome. So we hope you will take a moment now to welcome each other and anyone who may be visiting into this morning's worship service. Thanks, James. And now I would like to welcome Christian and Tracy Harden, who are here representing the Whitney Young Society, who will light our chalice and honor with some special words to honor this weekend.
Good morning. On January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln declared the slaves of the Confederate States forever free. And on January 31st, 1865, the United States Congress passed the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery throughout all of the United States. With these legislative milestones, America began the process of freeing its captive Africans, and just as importantly, began the process of freeing itself. But in the words of Frederick Douglass, no man can put a chain about the ankle of another without at last finding the other end of the chain fastened around his own neck. The welcome word of freedom was slow to spread, but wherever it spread, freedom was celebrated. Word of the emancipation didn't reach the slaves in Texas until June 19th, 6 months after the 13th Amendment passed. There are still parts of the world where freedom has not arrived. Now, with the signing last Thursday by the President of the United States, Juneteenth is now an official federal holiday that commemorates the liberation of African Americans as well as the universal striving for freedom for all. In that spirit, we light our chalice. Let's say the chalice lighting words together.
May the
light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace. May it be so.
I was racking my brain trying to think of, there's a lot of songs about parenthood, but there are few writers who write about the highs and lows of parenthood better than Loudon Wainwright III. And this song in particular, it really encompasses some of the complicated relationships that fathers and sons have. But I'm excited. It's called Father and Son. Father and Son. When I was your age, I was just like you. Look at me now, I'm sure you do. But your grandfather was just as bad. You should have heard him trash his dad. Life's no picnic, that's a given. My mom's mom died when my mom was 7. My mom's father was a tragic guy. He was so distant and nobody knows why. Now your mother's family, you know them. Each and every one a gem. Each and every one a gem. I was your age, I was a mess. On a bad day, I still am, I guess. I think I know what you're going through. Everything changes, but nothing is new. And I know that I'm miserable, can't you see? I just want you to be just like me. Boys grow up to be grown men, and then change back into boys again. You starting up and I'm winding down. Ain't it big enough for us both in this town? Say it's big enough for both of us in this town. When I was your age, I thought I hated my dad. The feeling was a mutual one that we had. We fought each other day and night. I was always wrong, he was always right. But he had the power, he needed to win. His life half over, mine was about to begin. I'm not sure about that edible stuff. When we were together, it was always rough. Hate is a strong word, I want to backtrack. The bigger the front, the bigger the back. The bigger the front, yeah, the bigger the back. You and me are me and you. It's a different ball game, though not brand new. And I don't know what all this fighting is for. We're having us a teenage, middle-aged war. And I don't want to die, you want to live. It takes a bit of taking, a whole lot of give. It never really ends, though each race is run. This thing between a father and son. This thing between a father and son. Maybe it's power, push or shove. Maybe it's hate, probably it's love. Maybe it's hate, but it's probably love.
Rise in body or in spirit, wherever you are, and join the Reinhardt family in this morning's movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude, and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor. Embrace. Gratitude. Share. Be present.
Amen.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, oh, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul.
Let us put hands upon hearts and feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. At this time, may all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find new ways to be more loving to one another. You are invited to say the names of people you are holding in your heart this morning. You can write their names into the live chat or speak their names into this holy moment now. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected, and to feel that connection. Now, we still our bodies, and we still our minds. We take in a big breath, and we exhale. We relax into this moment, this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
Comfort me, Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, oh my soul.
And Tango Makes Three by Justin Richardson and Peter Parnell, illustrated by Henry Cole, read by Laura Beth Brown. In the middle of New York City, there is a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their families aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda bear families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda bear cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey moms raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year at the same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, but they did everything together. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsay, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, "They must be in love." Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home. So they built a nest of stones just for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mama penguin would lay an egg. She and the papa penguin would take turns keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch, and then there would be a baby penguin. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what the other penguins were hatching, and he brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it, and sat, and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept, and when Silo was done sleeping and sitting, he swam, and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock, but nothing happened. Then, Mr. Gramsay got an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the center of their nest. Every day they turned it so each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food. Others day it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. They sat in the morning and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime and swim time and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month, and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all the days in between. Until one day, they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Beep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk! Beep, beep, answered the egg. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the eggshell, and then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now, Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsay decided, because it takes two to make a tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food from their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. Soon, Tango grew strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim, just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango! They cheered. And at night, the three penguins returned to their nest. There they snuggled together and, like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the families in the big city around them, they went to sleep.
Good morning. My name is David Smith, and I'm here to answer the question, how do you father like a UU? Well, I'd say with a lot of love and a lot of community, like my father. Here's a picture of my dad, Walter David Smith Jr. Everybody called him Smitty. My dad never finished college, but was an award-winning newspaper editor and columnist, and later a manufacturing plant general manager. My dad was all about community, and at the center of his community was his church community. We went to church every Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Wednesday evening, youth group, men's club, women's circles, just like a lot of UUCA folks. My dad was a lifetime 10% tither to his church. Lifetime, 10%. And so it was when I was a young adult with great trepidation that I got up the courage to tell my parents that I've started going to a Unitarian church. My dad didn't react at all the way I thought he would. Oh, the Unitarians merged with the Universalists in '61. Thoreau, Emerson, your cousin Rosemary is a Unitarian. My dad realized what I had found, community. But lifetime, 10%, geez. I am proud to have pledged at UUCA for 30 years, almost 30 years. Being a part of the UUCA community has helped nourish my life in so many ways. Most recently, when my daughter Claire experienced a medical emergency, you showed your support in many ways. Thank you. Claire is back at work and school and choir and expects a full recovery and expects to graduate from Georgia Tech this fall. We felt your support. Again, thank you. May we continue to give nourishment to each other through this community of faith. Please take a moment to go to uuca.org/give. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Dave. And I'll send a shout out to my dad as well, Mauro Richards. I'm so grateful to be your son. And Dave's going to come over here and play some harmonica. Got another Loudon Wainwright tune. This one's a little more up than the ups and downs. And definitely feeling this song quite a bit these days. It's called Being a Dad. Being a dad isn't so bad, except that you've got to feed them. You got to shoe them and clothe them, try not to loathe them, bug them and hug them and heat them. crazy. It's hard as it looks. You gotta read them dumb books, and you end up despising Walt Disney. Oh, being a dad starts to get radical when they turn into teenagers. You gotta tighten the screws, enforce the curfews, confiscate weapons and pagers. But a daughter or son can be sort of fun, just as long as they don't defy you. They'll treat you like a king, they'll believe anything. They're easy to frighten and lie to. Being a dad, being a dad. Well, being a dad can make you feel glad when you get paperweights and aftershave lotions. It feels pretty great when they graduate. That's when you're choked up with emotion. Well, being a dad takes more than a tad of good luck and divine intervention. You need airtight alibis, foolproof disguises. Desperation's the father of invention. So sometimes you take off for a few rounds of golf and you stay away for half of their lifetimes. The result of all it is, you're captured and hauled up before a tribunal for dad crimes. Being a dad, being a dad. Oh, being a dad. Well, being a dad can make you feel sad, like you're the insignificant other. Yeah, right from the start, they break your heart. In the end, every kid wants his mother. Oh, being a dad. Well, being a dad. Yeah, being a dad. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you both. Thank you, Dave, for your beautiful playing, your beautiful words, and also for these beautiful flowers. I want to, today's gorgeous flower arrangements were donated by Pat Harris and Dave Smith in memory of their fathers, Jim Harris and W.D. Smith, Jr. And I believe this is the first time in this pandemic that we have had sunflowers. So gorgeous. Thank you. And this is the way that you all show up again and again here, providing flowers when we need just a little bit of cheer here in the treehouse, in our what is now a film studio, as Christian and Tracy were discovering earlier this morning. You provide beauty in so many ways with your presence in the live chat that gives us all enough hope and energy and joy to get through another week of virtual worship together, with beautiful flowers that you contribute to brighten our worship time, our mornings together, with your beautiful hearts and all the ways that you share of yourselves, what matters to you, what's most important in your life, your authentic self. It's been amazing to begin to open this worship back up again to more and more of you. And I'm excited for you to hear more from each other this summer as we continue with this season of emergence from quarantine. For you to have the chance to really hear and see each other, all the beautiful gifts you bring to this community and to this worship service. Blessings on your gifts, blessings on this morning's offering. Please join me in dedication of the offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. Blessings on this gift. This morning's reading comes to us from a video blog of a dad named Keir Gaines. Hope you enjoy.
A lot of young men, particularly young black men, hit me up being like, yo, I can't wait to be a dad. I can't wait to be a father. And I love that because I think the men that were a generation before us got raised by the men that were a generation before them. And those men didn't really know warm love because a man didn't express those things that way back then. And I feel like I owe those young men to tell them, like, bro, this is hard because it exposes things about you that you don't know about yourself. It exposes all of your insecurities. And it's a huge emotional undertaking if you do it the right way. So while you see me and Noemi hugged up and loved up on each other, and we got this cute vlog and we make these cute videos and cute pictures, it's because we put in an immense amount of work to make this thing happen, man. We do it every day. We be having sit-down vlogs and we be on the cusp of beefing with each other. But we find that one thing in common that just always brings us back to remembering why we're together. So, bro, when you see this and me playing with my baby and it looks really cool and you want to have those moments, just know that that's the upside. It comes with a downside, and it can be incredibly painful if you allow it to be. So before you take on a family, bro, go see somebody about your past and go see somebody about the trauma that you've endured throughout the course of your life and start healing. Because if you don't heal from that, you'll have all this and you'll never be happy. And I don't want that for nobody, especially anybody who thinks that you can just pour water over a lady and a baby and have a happy family overnight. This ain't oatmeal, man.
So ends this morning's reading. A few weeks ago, my family had what I would describe as an epic day at the Atlanta Zoo. Now, we may not have penguins at our zoo, like the penguins in New York, Tango's dads, but that day, we arrived at some kind of zoo sweet spot where somehow every animal we approached was doing something extraordinary. I mean, you remember this? James agrees. We saw a rhinoceros sharpening its horn. We saw otters leap and dive for little fish at feeding time. We saw elephants grab impossibly small bits of hay with the end of their trunks and munch away. But nothing was as amazing as what we saw in the gorilla habitat. Zoo Atlanta is currently home to one of the largest populations of gorillas in North America. Western lowland gorillas live in troops, led by a dominant silverback, several adult females, and their offspring. When we happened upon this family of 20, the zookeepers were launching large heads of lettuce into the compound using an oversized slingshot. We figured it would be a chaotic scene with various teenagers and other family members clamoring and competing for the midday snack. But we were shocked to see what happened next. The silverback, the father figure of the clan, became activated, jumping and making noises. He quickly moved around, connecting with every single gorilla as if explaining the order of the feeding session. He physically cleared a path for the lettuce, making sure the first head of lettuce was reserved for the mother with the tiniest baby on her back. And then the next eldest, and then the next, and on until finally everyone had their own snack. Using a complex series of mostly physical communications, he ensured everyone was fed. Fathers in our culture have mostly been rewarded for that primal, protective, provider energy. But now that mothers are often earning more than fathers. Now that families transcend gender designations in so many ways, fathering is taking a new shape, and more is required. In this era of post-gender, post-feminism, fatherhood is evolving. More than ever before, fathering happens, as Dave said, in community. When James, who you saw playing music, when James became a father in Brooklyn, he was in community with lesbian couples, with transgender couples, and with dads who were not necessarily the primary breadwinner of the family. And having twins put us on more equal footing in sharing the responsibilities of parenting. It just had to, just by its nature. Fathering in those days looked like proud baby wearing while at the art gallery or park, stroller pushing through tiny pre-war doorways, being the one to wake up in the middle of the night and get one of the babies for night feeding. Now, I'm not suggesting this is noteworthy or special, simply that it may be different from the previous generation's expectations of fathers. Where dads are not finding in-person communities, Twitter and social media are a powerful influence on many of today's dads, especially Black dads and dads of color. James is the person who showed me, I think it was almost a year ago, who showed me this morning's reading, that clip of the dad we saw walking with his baby. And James was profoundly moved by this short little video of a dad sharing the emotional struggles of sticking around. Now that dad has a vlog or a video log of him and his baby doing lots of cute things together. And we follow a number of other dads, often Black dads, who are posting videos of conversations with their toddlers or art projects they make together. These are influencers, and they're influencing the fathering relationship in our family. When fathers are parenting out of trauma, these influencers often offer snapshot moments, models of how to form a healing identity of steadfast presence and emotional maturity. And this community of influencers is necessary when the ancestral models of fathering fall short. So many dads struggle under the yoke of expectation and disappointment, longing to be better than their own fathers, longing for their fathers to have been better. But when I ask dads about the hardest thing, when I read all these books and articles on fathering, they all speak of one thing that haunts them the most: fear. The weight of responsibility for another tiny, precious life, so vulnerable to a million different dangers. To be responsible for such a defenseless life is terrifying. I saw even the silverback gorilla manage his own fear in his frantic negotiation to get the baby and mother fed first. All his anxiety in the question, will the others accept his authority and stand down so the baby can eat? Not all fathers have the courage to face this daily negotiation of fear, like an invisible hand on the shoulder, heavy as lead. It is the work of a lifetime to develop the self-awareness required to understand your own trauma as a parent, where it comes from, and when it might reveal itself in the most mundane moments. It's hearing your own anger reflected back at you in your own words, but in a tiny, little, vulnerable voice of a child. It's the daily grind of facing insecurities and relentless disappointments of the daily tasks of parenting. It's the haunting question, is this all there is? Then there's the additional trauma of growing up as a Black child of a Black father in America. The poet, writer, and dad of two, Clint Smith, wrote an essay on fathering last year in The Atlantic. He wrote, "As is the case for many other parents, my children have pushed me to reprioritize, reevaluate, and reorient my relationship to the world, My decisions are no longer singularly centered on me. They are shaped by my commitment to these two small humans who think of me and my wife as their entire world. This is a new reality, he writes, for many Black parents who did not have children when the movement for Black lives began, but who now have young children in 2020. So much has changed in our lives, even when it feels like so little in our country has. Our children have raised the stakes of this fight, while also shifting the calculus of how we move within it. It is one thing to be concerned for my own well-being, to navigate the country as a Black man and to encounter its risks. It is another thing to be raising two Black children and to consider both the dangers for yourself and the dangers that lie ahead of them. And then there's Ta-Nehisi Coates' seminal book, Between the World and Me, which he wrote as a letter to his preteen son, reconciling what had to be done to protect him from the police or from white people who would see him as a threat and not as a little boy. It is a devastating truth that the leaden hand of fear weighs heavier on Black fathers in America, whether or not we make a national holiday out of Juneteenth. The cycles of fear, anxiety, disappointment, and anger, well, these can be ancestral wounds, fathering wounds. Friar Richard Rohr, a Christian mystic and writer, served as a prison chaplain in Albuquerque, New Mexico for 14 years. And in that time, he observed some powerful patterns related to fathering and incarceration. He writes, I was a jail chaplain for 14 years, and if there was one universal I found among the men in particular, but certainly the young women too, it was rare, if not never, to find someone in jail who'd had a good father. That's what's got me driven forward. We've got to start growing up men, because often the male of the species does not know how to hand on his identity, his intimacy, his caring to his children. Richard Rohr explores an idea he calls father hunger. It's driving so many things in our culture, he writes. The need for a father God who metes out punishments and rewards. Even this whole corporate world of a younger male's need to please the daddy and get a pat on the back or a promotion or a bonus. Rohr writes, it's such a mystery of the human condition that this father hunger can reveal itself to someone in the middle of their life. And suddenly they are realizing it, calling it out, saying they experience it as a chasm, a canyon, the emptiness, pain, left of a relationship with the father that wasn't there, or wasn't there emotionally. The mystery is that we can become very old, and that father hunger can still be with us. It is not something you just outgrow. Rohr goes on to say, when positive masculine energy is not modeled from father to son or father to child, it creates a vacuum in the soul. And into that vacuum, demons pour. So, how do we exorcise the demons? I think that's an appropriate question for a pastor to ask, isn't it? We support fathering in all its forms. We offer supportive spaces and groups where men and all those who father can share their fears, can really share their fear, and understand that everyone who is raising children is equally terrified. We can celebrate fathering. We offer gratitude for the fathers who stuck by us, who delighted in us, who were generous with their expressions of love and pride. And if we didn't get that as kids, then we look for places to seek it out. I've said this a million times before in a million ways before, but congregational life is a place where ancestral healing happens. in multi-generational community, we can seek out the fathering energy we never found with our own dads. And if you have fathering energy to spare, consider what it would mean to find someone to mentor. Maybe someone at UUCA. There are a million ways to bring healing into someone's life who desperately needs it. Mostly, you can do it through paying attention to the things they accomplish and caring about those things with them and expressing pride authentically. No matter how many times dads disappoint us, make us roll our eyes, misunderstand us, terrify us, or miss the mark, there are words we will never stop longing to hear. Words that will touch the center of our hearts and allow us to thrive as individuals. So dads, be generous with these words. I am so proud of you and who you are becoming. May we find these words and share them with someone who needs them. May we seek and find someone who delights in us, just delights in who we are, just the way we are. May we offer support to a dad who is struggling mightily under the weight of fear. This is how we heal ourselves, and in doing so, heal the world. Amen. May it be so. Blessed be.
For our closing hymn, I'll take you back to church. Number 348 in the gray hymnal, Guide My Feet. Guide my feet while I run this race. Oh, guide my feet while I run this race. Oh, glory, guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. My head while I run this race. Oh, my head while I run this race. Oh, glory. Oh, my head while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain.
Well, I think this is the best dad band around. If you are a person in need of that fathering energy, find a healthy place to seek that out, that protective, providing energy in your life. Seek it out. Seek it out in community. And if you are someone who has that fathering energy to share or wants to support another dad who may be struggling, find a way to offer your support or to offer that protective provider energy to someone who needs it. This is the way we all are going to raise each other up as we emerge into our new, beautiful future together. So go in peace, go in love, go in joy. Happy Father's Day. Blessed be.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hating, greed, and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
You are the new day, you are the new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you can but prove to me you are the new day. Send the sun in time for dawn. Let the birds all hail the morning. Love of life will urge me, say, you are the new day. When I lay me down at night, knowing we must fade, thoughts occur that this night might stay yesterday. Thoughts that we as humans small could slow worlds and end it all. Lie around me where they fall before the new day. One more day when time is running out for everyone. Like a breath I knew would come, I reach for a new day. Hope is my philosophy, just needs days in which to be. Love of life means hope for me, born on a new day. You are the new day. You are the new day. This little light of mine Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees. If I had stopped to listen once or twice, if I had closed my mouth and opened my eyes, if I had cooled my head and warmed my heart, I'd not be on this road tonight. Carry on, never run feeling sorry for yourself. It doesn't save you from your troubled mind. Walk down that lonesome road all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees.
Have you ever seen the sky so beautiful, colorful, wide and wonderful? Have you ever felt the sunshine so brilliantly rain?